Alrighty then, it's time for a Jungle Kane game. Let's get this show on the road. And this game is also going to have like a special announcement at the end, so yay. And yeah. Anyways, this game, if you couldn't tell by that splash art, is a Rost game. Look at the team composition. It screams Rost. I mean, they do have squishy characters that, Anime Kane can destroy, but they have Dr. Mundo, the newly buffed Dr. Mundo, and a Warwick. So my idea is to, destroy them with all their health and be this kind of frontline bruiser kind of thing. Anyways, I invade Warwick, and in the display of complete, strangeness, it just kind of ignores me for a little bit, which caused my W to miss because I thought as soon as he saw me, he'd back up or start fighting me. But instead, it just makes a very awkward fight, which ends up me being able to steal his Kruggies. And then Mundo's super low health against the Singed. I'm assuming he doesn't know how to play Dr. Mundo very much, but he's only picking him because he's pretty strong right now. And I just dive him and manage to kill him, which gives me a humongous boost to my transformation powers right now. In fact, I believe on the stream I had 2/3 already. Imagine becoming Rost or Anime Kane so early on into the game. That'd be insane. Anyways, I'm obviously off to an amazing start. And once again, I gank Dr. Mundo because he's pushed way too far ahead, especially against a Singed, who, at this point isn't going to be bullied around. You don't push too hard against a Singed because he'll just throw you around and cause you a lot of pain and torment with his poison. Also, furiously enough, I'm about one tick away from transforming after I had ganked that Corki. Just one little tick. So it's like now I gotta waste my time going home, hoping I kill the right person, that kind of thing. It's kind of silly. I kind of feel that you should be gaining these little soul thingies just slightly over time, just to avoid these you're just a little hair away from transformation. Either way, the enemy Warwick goes to gank bottom lane, so you know what that means. I could steal his entire jungle, starting with his red buff. Take the red, take the chickens. And yeah, at this point I have an incredible amount of momentum. The enemy team, though, isn't really out of the count yet. They can still bounce back because their team comp isn't entirely terrible in terms of dealing damage. However, repeatedly doing these weird things like underestimating your opponents, yeah, that's not going to help you. So now after killing Dr. Mundo, that basically guarantees I get Rost. And I almost kind of left without transforming, but whatever. So also a very peculiar thing about transformation. As you're transforming into the other version of Kane, you can't buy items and you stop healing while you're in the fountain. It doesn't make that big of a deal, but it's just kind of an interesting tidbit. Anyways, I try to fight Warwick, his fear knocks me about, I flash in, I start slashing him, he ults me, keeps me pinned down. It makes a very awkward fight because his, life regen or life gain is pretty annoying to deal with. He eventually does die, but it requires Zyra and Caitlyn to interfere. Here I gank Lux, and if I only casted my ultimate a lot sooner, I would have definitely killed her. So that's just kind of a shame. I still technically got her flash for nothing, so it's pretty good. And then the Sivir, at this point, she should have realized that she could be towered over rather easily. So she had no minions at her tower, and she promptly died. So hooray, I'm pretty fed. Yeah, this is one of those games. But it's gonna almost say it's mostly for the announcement at the end, but you get me, right? It's still pretty entertaining to watch Anime Kane. And I did really want to make a point that since Dr. Mundo is seeing a return, one of the champions I'm picking to deal with Dr. Mundo, at least to an extent, and at least I don't get completely stomped in the beginning, is Rost. Because, shenanigans with Rost are pretty funny against super high HP characters. But yeah, the enemy Dr. Mundo in this case wasn't the best example because, like I said, I'm not sure he really understands how to play the champion yet. So he kind of fed, and I got fed, and whatever. But I've had matches before with high HP champions, not necessarily just pure tanks, and Rost was pretty damn good against them. So my idea is that he's going to become my go-to champion as long as Dr. Mundo is pretty strong right now. Sort of like I picked up Olaf again after Skarner became a big-ass menace and Olaf south counters him. But anyways, you see here we got a couple kills, and then all of a sudden a wolf comes in and slashes me in the face. I die, finally. But at this point, I think the enemy team is, despite the fact that their team comp could deal a bunch of damage and could blow us up from a distance, I think at this point, we're a little bit too ahead, or at least I'm ahead enough that I could just probably kill someone important, including their front line. Also got to point out, I love this. I just go through the wall because you knew Lux was going to throw her Q, right? You knew she was going to do that because it's kind of like a panic Q. It's like, oh, stop it. Maybe I'll make enough distance to run away. So I just got to loop around in a circle. I ganked the Warwick, and I also do like how I perform this because as soon as he gets out of range, I pop my ultimate knowing he's going to use his little E, and just wait for it to pop, and then E, just kill him. Fun times. And at this point, Dr. Mundo, no matter how tanky he is, really can't do anything in return, so he just gets whittled down with no real effect from him, that kind of stuff. The enemy team is pretty crippled at this point. And it mostly kind of came from the fact that Warwick applied pressure to the wrong lane, although it can be debated that the Dr. Mundo would have lost his lane regardless of Warwick's interference. Just in general, Warwick should have tried to keep track of me and kept me from getting big because, you know, I'm a snowballing champion, and I would have assumed that, you know, Rost would deal with Warwick and Dr. Mundo, and Shadow Kane could deal with their 2 carries, so I was someone he had to keep in mind throughout this entire game, but he really didn't. So it's just one of those situations where I'm not gonna blame the jungler entirely. It's just I feel he kind of let his jungle die essentially because he focused on other areas and it sort of fell apart. Also, that early gank on him or early kill was really awkward, and like, you know, I only got away with it because he kind of didn't pay attention and I got a couple free blows, but whatever. Yeah, 22-6. It's looking pretty grim for the enemy team. I wonder what they're gonna do. Gotcha. By the way, my build is very basic. I'm building a Guardian Angel after I'm building Guardian Angel. I build Black Cleaver and obviously Warrior to do a good amount of damage as Kane. At this point, the poor Lux, as soon as I catch her, she just kind of explodes and dies without being able to do it much. But could you really find sympathy for the Lux? Because if you look at her build, you know, it's that AP support build they tend to do because whatever, right? Nonetheless, they still can actually, you know, turn some fights around. In this case, we actually fight this fight incredibly sloppy. Some of them going through the wall completely isolated. I end up following them through, but it's very wonky. We do kill Warwick, and I don't cast my ultimate fast enough before I just get blown up, so I get dropped without being able to lifesteal against the Dr. Mundo. Vlad gets taken down, and then, you know, the rest of my team takes what they can alongside the Rift Herald. I do believe one of my other teammates dies there is Zyra. Zyra just gets killed by the tower. So it's just kind of a silly thing that my teammates were there for however long they were tower diving that much. It was a little bit too reckless. It's just a very solo queue thing, you know, where like, you know, oh, we have the lead, we can do a lot of crazy shenanigans because we're strong. And by the way, I trolled my teammate there by blowing up the explosive rune just to keep him in place. But it turns out it was pretty beneficial because the Dr. Mundo stuck around or was pushing without any support rewards. So even though Singe wanted to go home, him staying allowed us to get a very easy Dr. Mundo kill. So my jerkiness ended up being a positive thing. And my team wants to go for Baron now, but I want to go for that Lux booty. I find her and come on, she's got no chance. She's just suffering internally, and she wants this game to end. You know, I catch her with a flash and then I stab her. Then I turn around to catch the enemy team, and they had a good chance of stealing it here. But, you know, they didn't time it properly, and their jungler was God knows where. And I give quite a bit of chase. Warwick and Dr. Mundo come in. I W the mob, slash about them, and then I finally cast my ultimate. And I basically gain my health completely full because Dr. Mundo's a fatty little fat, and I get to heal off that. And we just kind of, you know, break down their front line. So, yeah this game is done. I mean, this game has been done. It's just kind of, you know, a cherry-picked showcase of Kane, honestly. But, you know, it's fun sometimes to just watch somebody get absolutely destroyed, right? Either way, thank you for watching, and stick around for, well, at least the weird announcement for my stream. Not weird, just finally making a schedule. Anyways, I want to use this time to set everyone on the same track as towards what my streaming schedule tends to be, because people seem to be confused as to what times I will stream, and also some surprise that some people don't even know that I actually do stream, even though it's in the description box below. Anyways, for those who don't know, I do have a job outside of YouTube, and that one tends to make it so I have to work really, really late at night, and I usually get home around noon. So yeah, I'm working the graveyard shift. So when I get home, I you know, make myself my lunch and relax a little bit, and then I try to get a video out by at least 4 p.m. PST. the best time I tend to get it out now is around 3 p.m. and give it some time to, make its rounds, and then I stream. On the days that I work, I'll usually stream late into the afternoon, around 4 or 5 p.m. PST, and usually around 3 hours, though sometimes they might go as little as 2 hours if I'm very tired, but I still want to stream. During those days, it will usually be around like a Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Friday. And again, it will usually depend about how tired I am or if I can get my other obligations done quickly. Now, the days I have off, those are better. Like, I could stream way earlier and for a much longer time. Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days that I have off and I'll stream the longest. Sometimes I'll stream around 9 a.m. PST. And these streams can usually go around to 5 hours, and one even went almost to 8. So it usually depends on the mojo I have flowing, if my morale is kept up. But usually I try to stream at least 3 times a week, and I can't really predict what days I'll be able to do so because either I'm too tired or have other obligations or I stay longer at work or so on and so on, right? So yeah, I'll usually make these announcements on Facebook saying, "Hey, I'm about to stream. Watch for those. If you don't, if you don't go to Facebook, then you might as well go to my stream and give it a follow, and it will email you when I actually do start streaming." But like I said, on most days, even on the days off, I might just start at those times. I usually will stream 4 p.m. PST, Pacific time. So Google that and sort of gauge what time frame you're at, because I don't know, everyone has different time zones. And hopefully you can catch my stream. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you did, and follow me on Twitch so you can finally watch my streams.